limestone is basically calcium carbonate. They choose the purest limestone, so they're trying to avoid having some with a lot of iron in it. They bring it here and they burn it in this kuptor. Kuptor is a Hungarian name for an oven. They burn it entirely with wood, so it's as near to carbon neutral as you would get for creating lime, which is why we're interested in the UK. So in 2002, 10 years ago, we funded a lady to come to Romania to investigate lime burning, a lady called Bridget Gubbins from the northeast, from Morpeth. And she came back and she said, you're really going to have to do something practical about this because it's a dying skill. So we ended up running a Leader Plus project, Anglo-Romanian lime burning, with it's involved Peter Coverdale, Peter Kempsey, all that crew. And they came here, not actually to here, but the other end of the Apuseni Mountains, to learn the art of lime burning, and the Romanians came to us, and that's now happened 3 times. And we have a kuptor like this at Ashgill in Cumbria, in our site. So we're making lime in the Romanian way, but we still there are still some skills that we can't quite capture. Come inside the kuptor and you'll see some of them. Just be a bit cautious in here because lime is maybe just come round the edge. So this is where the fire is, and this of course is a permanent structure. This brick doesn't have to be brick. It could be river cobbles and clay, but you can see how hot it gets because it vitrifies the brick. So this is the skilled bit. This is loaded with limestone that is built up like a dry stone wall. But carefully built up so there's enough air going round the stones, and when they get to here, when they get to here, they start to corbel in, and they create a dome, and it is the most wonderful bit of engineering and building skill, and that's the thing that we find hard to capture, because they're balancing it on the head and they end up with a little hole, and they wriggle out and put the last few keystones in, and then take off the hat and drop it on. And it's a very a bit of theatre as well, because the dome builder is such a skilled person. He might work for several villagers. So when you then look through the front into this cave, it's like dog's teeth sticking down. So they're choosing limestone. Each one is a bit like a keystone. And then they burn in here to about 800, 900 degrees for 3 solid days, day and night, feeding wood in. And there's, of course, air has to get in, but all this limestone is turned to quickly. They have a pie crust on the top of clay, and they know when it's turned to lime by the colour of the flame flickering around the edge that comes out of
So
the
the
pie
clay
crust.
will encompass the
It covers the top, yeah. A layer of straw, a layer of clay. The straw, of course, burns away, and the clay is just like a pie crust. So the calcium carbonate is changed to calcium oxide by the driving off of CO2, carbon dioxide. The calcium oxide is then taken out, and we'll see what happens to it. But it's taken out, just the rocks are the same shape and everything. They've just had the CO2 driven off.
So when they've built up the wall and made the dome, how big an opening do they actually leave to make?
Not as big as that,
No, to put
about
the fire
like
in.
that.
Right.
Because eventually they will seal it.
Mhm.
When the flame changes colour, they seal it,
Right, and lets it do a
and it does a final
A
cooking,
burning,
and it
drives off
cools
the rest of it.
naturally.
drives off the rest of this oxygen. Right.
So in a kiln like this, they'd be producing about 10 tons of lime at a time.
Just describe the. Because I've never understood, do they mix the wood in with it? Or-
No, they're creating a dome, and they're
Solid.
burning in here. This is a fierce, ferocious flame.
A
If you
dome
look
like
through
an
the...
like an igloo, you mean?
Yes.
Off this.
Yeah, this is the...
I see.
This is where it starts. Look in here, and it's like looking into the eye of the sun. It's white hot. If you were to throw a coin in, it would immediately just melt. If you were to throw a bottle in, it would just go...
So it's wood in the pit and then lime built
Yes.
over the top.
Coming up, and about here they start to corbel it, and it ends up with the dome, and they fill the top with limestone as well. So once they've done the dome, they fill the whole thing. But with the pieces are so carefully selected as well, because the heat has to pass around the whole thing.
And what sort of size?
Each piece is about like this. So, then you... And Peter Coverdale buys all the lime we can produce in our cup